1.7 is going to wrap up chapter 1 for us. It's mostly review stuff. I believe there's nothing in here that's brand spanking new to us in geometry class. But we're going to find the perimeter and area and circumference when we're talking about circles for different types of polygons. All right? The first two are quadrilaterals because they have how many sides? 4 sides in a quadrilateral. They're your special quadrilaterals. The first one is a square. What's special about a square? All sides are the same and all angles are right angles, right? All the same angles. So if all the sides are the same, remember that little line on a segment means they're congruent, right? The little tick mark means they're congruent, and all of them are showing congruent, so we know it's a square. So you can multiply the length of one side times 4, and that will tell you perimeter. First of all, what is perimeter? What's the perimeter of an object? The distance all the way around the sides, right? The length of all the sides added together. So if you know all the sides, you can just add them all together. Side plus side plus side plus side plus side. Or you can say 4 times one side, and that will tell you the perimeter. All right, the area of a square, well, it's a rectangle, so it's length times width. But since the length and the width are the same, you can say the area equals the length of one side squared. So square actually has a shortcut. Okay? All right, rectangles. Perimeter, you have 4 sides. You have 2 of them that are the same, that match 2 others are the same. So they say that for perimeter, you can add all the sides, or you can say 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Double the length and double the width and add those together for perimeter. And what's the area of a rectangle, guys? Length times width. And remember when we say the area, it's in the units squared. So if this was in inches, we would say square inches for our answer. Okay, so you also have to square the units for area. Triangle. To get the perimeter, you're going to add all the sides. Basically, the only way you can do that, there's nothing special for a triangle for perimeter. And the area of a triangle, you need to memorize that. Area equals 1/2 times the base times the height. Area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. Now the base is the bottom of the triangle, and it is perpendicular to the height. That means it makes a 90-degree angle with the height. And the last one is a circle. So instead of perimeter, we call circumference the perimeter of a circle. So the circumference of a circle is your distance or your length around the edge of a circle. So that is circumference. And you can do that 2 different ways. You can do pi times diameter, or you can say 2 pi times the radius. Now, how are these 2 things the same thing? Right, the radius is half of the diameter. So if you double the radius, you get a diameter, don't you? Because the radius is from the center of the circle to the outside edge. The diameter goes all the way through the center and cuts the circle in half. And the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. So what they're going to do is they're going to give us some objects, and we're going to have to decide what shape they are, and we're going to have to find their perimeter or area. Okay? Hopefully I've drawn to where this looks like what it's supposed to look like. What does it look like? Do what? No, you don't. You can just draw the outside rectangle. Yeah, you don't have to draw, mine's terrible. You can tell, look, at my 3-point line, it's all confused. It's terrible. All right. No, it's not a soccer field. Do you not know what a soccer field looks like? No, nothing like that. Yes, it's all boxes. Well, there's a circle in the middle, but that's it. I'm not super knowledgeable at soccer unless it's like 5 and 6-year-old soccer. That's about to the extent of my knowledge of soccer. All right, so we have a basketball court, Well, it's what it's supposed to be anyway. And what shape is the basketball court? It's a rectangle. Now, I know there's a bunch of shapes going on the inside, but the outside of it is a rectangle. We got to find both the perimeter and the area of this basketball court. Okay? What does perimeter mean? All sides added together. Or we can do the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle, which is twice the length plus twice the width. Correct? Either way. So one of them is what? 84 feet. And the other one, it don't really matter which one you put in for the length or the width, honestly. And the other one is 50. So I'll have two 50 feet lengths and two 84 feet lengths. Does that make sense? So our calculators can be our friends if we want them to be. You should always get your calculator before you start taking notes. So if you need to go get it. But from now on, do not interrupt my lesson. You should get it at the beginning of the class. So 168 is 2 times 84. What's 2 times 50? 100. And what's 168 plus 100? 268. Now we have units, don't we? Is it 268 centimeters? Feet. Okay, always put your units, especially if you're finding perimeter or area, if it gives them units. Okay? Now, do we square for perimeter? No, only do that for which units? Area. Right? We square our units for area. Now, y'all told me this was a rectangle, so I always also have to find the area of this rectangle. So how do I find the area of a rectangle? Length times width, so I'm multiplying what? 50 times 84. 4,020. 4,200. Okay. You did. My ears stopped up. My allergies are bothering my ears are stopped up. So what are my units, though? Square feet. Area is square units because you had to multiply. So any questions on how we got those? Simple, simple. You've done this before. All right, now we got a circle. We got to find the circumference in the area. Okay? So we're going to use those formulas I've already given you. Remember, circumference is the distance around a circle. Now, what is that 9 centimeters there? It's the diameter, right? I know it's drawn outside the circle, but it's the same thing as from here to here, correct? It matches up. So that is the diameter. So the circumference, do you think we're going to use pi times diameter or 2 pi r? Might as well use pi d since we already know what d is, right? Now, we are going to estimate pi. What do we know? What number estimates pi? Okay. So I'm going to put them squiggle lines because what did I say those squiggle lines mean? Yeah, it means we rounded. We're rounding, okay? Squiggle means approximately, and the diameter is 9. So y'all put 3.14 times 9 in your calculator and tell me what you get approximately. 28.26. What's my units? Centimeters. Always use your units, please. So there's our circumference. That's our distance around our circle. Next, we want to find the area of the circle. What's the formula for area of the circle? Pi r squared. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. They didn't tell me an r. It's half of the diameter, right? What's half of 9? 4.5, right? So pi times 4.5 squared. Okay, y'all. Since y'all were little, you learned something in math called the order of operations, correct? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Otherwise, parentheses, exponents, and then multiply, divide, and add, subtract. Okay? Do I multiply pi times 4.5 first, or do I square 4.5 first? Exponent before you multiply, correct? So you do your exponent first, please. What is 4.5 squared? So then you say 3.14 times 20.25. And if you don't want to type in 3.14, there is a pi button on your calculator. If you hit second and then the rooftop button up above the division key, that's a pi. So if you want to type 20.25 and then hit that button, it multiplies it times pi. And it don't round as much as 3.4 is rounding it, so it's a little bit more accurate. Okay? So, yeah, we're still squiggling because anything that we use in the calculator for pi is going to round pi. Okay? So I'm getting about 63.6. Did y'all get that? 63.6. What's my units? Just centimeters? Area should be squared. Any questions on a circle? All right. What shape is this? It's a triangle. So we're going to do a triangle next. Again, we're going to do both things. We're going to find the perimeter and the area. All right. How do you find the perimeter of a triangle? You just add all the sides. So what numbers are we adding? 4 plus 10 plus 12. Can y'all tell me what that is? 26. What's my units? Inches. So any questions on how we got the perimeter of the triangle? Pretty simple, right? All right. Now there's a formula for the area of a triangle. What is that formula? Area equals 1/2 times the base times the height. Okay? So 1/2 goes there. What's my base of my triangle? 12. Very good. What's the height of my triangle? 6. And then you multiply them all together. Y'all, what's half of 12? 6 times 6 is 36. I didn't need my calculator for that. 36 what? Square inches. And y'all see how I've labeled mine P equals and A equals? That is very helpful for me grading your work, okay? So make sure you label what you're doing. All right, any questions on those so far? All right, I want y'all to open your book to page 50. And then I want you to try that number 1, 2, and 3 at the middle of the page where it says guided practice. I want y'all to try those on your own. Find the perimeter and the area for all of them. Well, circumference for number 3. So y'all are trying that right now on your own, and we'll check it in a minute. Bye, y'all. Perimeter and area for all of them, except number 3 is circumference and area, please. The square. On the left hand side, where it says square root, square something. Oh no, you don't do second. You do second x squared and get the square root. Got everything on the six. All right, check your work with somebody close if you haven't already. not going to get a negative area or perimeter, no. All right, y'all help me out. What kind of figure is number 1? So for perimeter, what's the formula for perimeter of a rectangle? Oh, I'm frozen, sorry. Twice the length plus twice the width, right? So give me one of them. Which one's one of the length to the width? 13. And the other one is 5.7. And since you're just multiplying both by 2, it doesn't really matter the order you did this in. 2 times 13 is 26. What's 2 times 5.7? 11.4. And then you add that, and you got what for your perimeter? 37.4 meters. Raise your hand if you got your perimeter for 37.4 meters. All right, and also how to find the area. Y'all, if you don't do everything it asks you to do, it is not complete and it is wrong. So some of your homeworks I'm looking at, some of you found X, but you didn't find me the angle measure that it was asking you to find. So that's not good. All right, so the area of a rectangle is what? Length times width. So I'm multiplying what two things together? 13 times 5.7. So the area is what? Raise your hand if you got 74.1 meters squared for the area for number 1. You better square it. Area is always square units. Perimeter is not. Area is always square units. On area. Yep. So number 2, what kind of figure is a number 2? A square. How can you find the perimeter of a square? 4 times the length of the sides. Or you could do side plus side plus side plus side, right? Same thing. What is the length of the side they give you? 1.6. And what is 4 times that? 6.4 centimeters. Raise your hand if you got that for your perimeter for your square. All right. And I guess this side they didn't get that. So the area is also length times width or side squared, right? So the area is going to be 1.6 squared. Did y'all find how you can square on your calculator? If you diagonal from the 7, it says x squared. So instead of multiplying it times itself, if you hit that square button, it should do it. So what is 1.6 squared? 2.56 square centimeters. Raise your hand if you got that for your area. Questions on those? What shape is on number 3? A circle. How do you find the circumference of a circle? Yeah, 2 pi r or pi d, right? Yep, because you technically multiplied that by 2 to do that anyway. So either one. I'm just going to do 2 pi r. Yeah, if you went ahead and doubled the radius, then you essentially did that, right? Even if you did pi d. So yeah, so we know that our radius is 2 yards. So 2 times pi times 2. So really you had 4 times pi. Everybody did, right? So I'm going to do that in my calculator. And y'all got approximately what for the circumference? I'm getting about 12.56 yards. Y'all get that for your circumference? If you round that to 12.6, you're still there, right? Okay? We're good. I mean, we squiggled it anyway. We approximated anyway, didn't we? All right, what's the area of a circle? Pi r squared. And what's our radius? 2. Order of operations, what do we do first? Yeah, exponent first. So 2 squared is 4. So this is pi times 4 as well, right? We got lucky. So area is also, we're going to have to say approximately, 12.56 square yards. Did y'all get that? Okay. Did y'all get that and think it was wrong? Well, that's right. That's essentially the same thing. It rounds. All right. Good job. One last thing we're going to talk about is they might give you a word problem and tell you different parts and you have to find the other part. So for one thing, they give me the base of a triangle is 28 meters. Its area is 308 square meters. Find the height. Okay, so we're not finding the area. They told us the area, but we still need to use the formula for the area of a triangle. Okay, because number one, they told me it was a triangle. Number two, they gave me the area. So what's the formula for the area of a triangle? Mm-hmm. Okay, you have a question? What is it? Yes, because they both end up to be 4 times pi. Okay, so what did we say is the area of a triangle formula? 1/2 base times height. That's supposed to be base times height, not BB. Okay. Now they told me the area was how much? 308 square meters. What else did they tell me? The base is 28 meters. So how do you think I'm going to find the height? Plug everything in, I know, right? Yeah. So A is 308, so I plug 308 in for A. Equals 1/2 is going to stay a half. My base, they told me, was 28, and I'm looking for H, so I'll leave that a variable. Okay, so use your formula and plug in what they tell you. Now, what's half of 28? So 308 equals 14H, and how do I get H by itself? Divide by 14 on each side, and could y'all do that and tell me what you get? 22, what's my units? Everything's in meters, so 28 meters is the height of that triangle. It's kind of a tall triangle. 22 meters. A meter is close to a yard. Okay. So any questions about that one? So they might tell you the area, in which case you still use the formula for area to find the missing piece. I said this one is a you try, but let's do it together, can we? Turn to page 52. We're looking at the guided practice number 7 in the middle of the page. Not number 7 at the bottom of the page. I'm talking about the number 7 guided practice in the middle of the page. Oh, this is basically the same thing, except you're finding the base this time. It says the area of a triangle is 64 square meters, and its height is 16 meters. Find the length of the base. So we're going to use the area formula for the triangle. Now, what is the formula for the area of a triangle? Area equals 1/2 base times height. I can't make my B's look like H's. Okay. So they told me the area this time was how many units? 64 square meters. And this time they told me the height. What did they say the height was? 16 meters. And then this time I'm looking for the base. So we plug in what we do know. So do we know the A is what? Half is still a half. Do we know base? Nope, keep it B. Do we know H? 16. Yeah, you can do half of 16. So 64 equals 8B. Divide by 8, and you get 8 what? Meters is the base. So are y'all okay with using the formulas to find a missing part? All right. And I'm going to stop right there. Have a good day.